Welcome to the Broncos podcast with Troy Rank. I am your host, Troy Rank from the Denver Post. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your week wherever you are. Thank you so much for listening. If it's in your car, on your phone, just because you like pods and you listen at work, we appreciate it. And Broncos country, you have got a victory Monday. It's still Sunday night where I'm doing this from Philadelphia, and then I will be flying out to London tomorrow to cover the Broncos v Jets. But wow, before the Broncos fly to London. Sean Payton, a signature win. I'm going to tell you just how crazy it was the Broncos won that game today. And there's a stat out there that I don't think you're going to believe. And Bo Nix, it looked clunky. Sometimes he's a little easier to appreciate than explain, but what a finish. And there was a scene in the locker room at the end that you're going to love, Broncos country. That's going to make you feel like, you know what? This team this season now has a chance to do something special. They're 3-2. That's what I thought they would be, but I thought they were going to beat Indianapolis and lose to the Eagles. They got that game back, and now the Broncos, to me, are a top. If you're doing power rankings, they're in the top 8 now. They're in that group that puts you in the conversation that anything could happen in January. So, again, signature win. Bo in the fourth, and a stat that you will not believe. We're going to get to all of that after the break. Have you been hurt in a car wreck or injured at work? What are you waiting for? Give my friends at Hoggatt Injury Law a call. Their motto with us, it's personal. That's because it is. I've known Darby Hoggatt for years. We traveled the country watching our boys play baseball. We talked a lot of Broncos. We became good friends. Many of Darby's clients become his good friend. You don't even have to pay Darby up front. Case goes as planned. Darby will be the one writing checks to you. So again, if you've been hurt in a car wreck or injured at work, let Darby's team go to work for you. And that number is 1-833-HOGGATT, 1-833-Hoggatt. That's the number. And go to the website if that's not the easiest thing in the world, hoggattlaw.com. All right, welcome back to the Broncos pod. Folks, what a win. A signature win. We talked about it. I talked to you about it on Friday, about what this win could mean, not only for the Broncos, but Sean Payton. So let's lay it out here. Sean Payton moved past Bill Parcells on the all-time NFL wins list. He gets emotional talking about this. Payton does not exactly have a soft spot, certainly when he talks to the media, but Bill Parcells is his mentor in every way. And this game meant a lot to him because of that. He moves past Parcells, who we talked to obviously this week. It also is where Sean Payton started his NFL career as an assistant with Philadelphia. He's known Vic Fangio. Payton's one of his relatives taught Vic Fangio in school. Payton grew up as a fan of some Philly teams. Like, there's a lot of connections with family and Payton to Philly and obviously to Parcells. And so this is a big win for that reason. But it's a signature win. It goes deeper than that. If you're going to be a special team, you have to beat good teams on the road as an underdog when no one expects it. That's the case today. I know a lot of people bet them to cover. Obviously, Broncos country, you might be in a minority feeling they're going to win, but this wasn't a game you look at, oh, yeah, they're going to win. And if you thought they were going to win entering the fourth quarter, come on now. Come on, get serious. Stop lying. But it's a signature win for Sean Payton in Denver. Not for his career. He won a Super Bowl. We get it. This is a signature win for Sean Payton as the Broncos head coach. You said, Troy, he's had some big ones. At Tampa Bay, big win last year. Turned the season around completely. Very similar to this in a very similar spot on the schedule before they went to the Greenbrier. That was a big win. At Buffalo in Payton's first year, big win. Even they got a mulligan. It was kind of weird. Mulligan at the end of the game, lets misses, then he makes it because too many men on the field. Huge win. But they didn't go to the playoffs that first season. They choked it out against the Patriots at the end, and that was the Christmas Eve game. So that one moves down on the list. Last year, the Tampa Bay game for me was huge because it got him to the playoffs. His next biggest win was probably the streak buster against the Chiefs. I was going back and forth with people on Twitter about this. Some think that's been his biggest win. And I understand it. You'd lost 16 straight to the Chiefs, but it was at home, and you didn't go to the playoffs that year. So that's part of it. This one is on the road against the defending Super Bowl champs, who, by the way, have not lost a home game until today in 13 months. Last home game they lost was the Falcons last September, early September. They're 21 in their last 21 games, counting the Super Bowl. Haven't lost a home game in 13 months. And then listen to this stat. I hope if you're driving, grab the wheel with both hands. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. The Broncos, in winning this game, they are now 2-112 on the road when trailing by at least 14 points in the fourth quarter. Only one other time in Broncos history had they ever won a road game when trailing by 14 points or more in the fourth quarter. I think it might have been the Tebow Miami game. I wasn't covering the team then. It might have been that game. I'm trying to effort that. I just got this stat confirmed by the Broncos tonight before they headed to London by their great PR staff. And that, again, 2-112 now. They were 1-112. So when you say, oh, it's a 1 in 100 chance, it wasn't even that good. Going into the fourth quarter, it was a 1-in-112 chance that they were going to come back and win. So if you're sitting there telling me, I knew they were going to win, no, you didn't. You're lying. You are lying. Be honest with yourself, because you're lying. But they went on this rampage. They scored 18 points in the fourth quarter. And what makes it so crazy is you see games where a team comes back, but it's they're down 38-24 and win, but they're moving the ball all night, and maybe the only thing that got in the way were turnovers. The Broncos offense stunk for a large part of that game. Halftime, they have 3 points. It's ugly. It's a worthy 3 points. It's not like they had a bunch of turnovers. It's just 3 points. That's what they deserve. At one point between the second and third quarters, they had 6 straight punts? 6? And you're going to win at Philadelphia? And they just catch fire. Part of it was establishing the run again. Sean Payton, again, wrote it on his sheet, his play sheet, run it. And I hope it's seeping into his brain, in every crevice of his brain, that is how this team can have an offensive identity. Win at the line of scrimmage, make Bo's job easier. You've got a good to great defense. Win at the line of scrimmage. Now you got play action boot, and take that into account. And then I'm telling you, J.K. Dobbins is an absolute dog. Let's call it what it is. His nickname actually is El Toro. I found out this week that he has Dominican family. That's why he did the wonderful viral video in Spanish after the Monday night game. So he speaks Spanish. He went to Guadalajara, Mexico on his own just to learn Spanish. Learn it, immerse himself with it, and he earned the nickname in there, the El Toro. This guy likes to run, always running, and he runs hard. Man, he's got juice right now. He was huge on these touchdown drives. Cortland Sutton, he and Bo Nix share the same biorhythms on third down. They are in such sync. Anytime Bo needs a big play, he's looking to Sutton. But we had an emergence. Folks, I told you, I don't like to take victory laps because I'm wrong, obviously, plenty. I told you on the podcast, I wrote this in a column last week, and please read my columns and the work of Parker Gabriel and Luca Evans. We have got you covered. We all three were out here in Philly. I said Evan Ingram either has to have a big game, a big catch, a big drive. Well, he had two things. He had a big catch and was part of a huge drive. He, going into the fourth quarter, has, 2 catches for 4 yards? Sean Payton doesn't like his body language. He lights into him. And Ingram's been everything, great teammate, hasn't been grousing, even though his role has been awful. He's been miscast as a freaking platoon player with Adam Troutman. And I'm writing you didn't sign this guy and guarantee him $16.5 million to be a role player. Get him the damn ball. And they got it to him. He had a couple of big catches, over 10 yards, ends up with, in that fourth quarter, 29 yards receiving and an 11-yard touchdown. That's why you got Ingram, to win in the middle of the field. And then they go for 2. Are you kidding me? Troy Franklin, Peyton was in his bag in the fourth quarter. And what was just clunky and awful and gear grinding By the time they got to the fourth quarter, he got into his bag and they took over. And the defense, the stat is crazy. The last 5 Eagles drives, they had 3 first downs. Eagles did them a huge favor. Their offensive coordinator, just idiocy. Remember when Shane Steichen screwed up and was going to kick that 60-yard field goal because he just goes full Nate Hackett? He's like, oh, we're a 60-yarder. We never had one that long in the history of the franchise, but let's just stop here and stop trying. He's trying to gift the game to him, and they didn't take it. Today, Eagles coordinator, whether you blame Sirianni because he doesn't call the plays, but he's involved. They just kept passing. They're killing the Broncos in one way. It feels way bigger than 17-13. They had one drive, folks, that was like 18 seconds. They're allowing the Broncos to get back into the game with these just putrid drives. Quick. And the Broncos find a way then to get a field goal drive to finish. The one thing they haven't done all season, they finish and they change the narrative. Pat Surtain told me, you guys were all, I'm sure, was the good to the last drop. Technically, it wasn't a drop. But Skinner in coverage, I have no idea what he was doing on that last drive. He's just out there tackling guys. And they're lucky they didn't have the ball at the 2-yard line with like 2 seconds left to win the game. Because Skinner, that could have easily been interference. And the Broncos benefited from a call. Zach Braun, a little bit of a suspect late hit, but you can't come in leading with your head. So I'm not going to defend him on that. But all these calls we've seen go against the Broncos where they can't finish, suddenly today, you usually have the kind of regression to the mean. It evens out. Today, the Broncos got some calls that they had not been getting in these one-score games. Last year, 1-6 in one-score games. This year, already 2 wins. One's Tennessee, I'm not going to get excited about. Then you lose 2 to the Chargers and Colts, get walked off, and then you win 1 today. And when I talked to Riley Moss in the locker room about it, it was just like, we finished. Malcolm Roach is hurt. He's going to be back soon, hopefully soon. We finished. J.K. Dobbins telling me after the game, we're mentally tough. We know physically we can do this. We showed how mentally tough we are. And that's the difference from a team that goes 9-8, sneaks into the playoffs, or goes 11-6, wins the division, or at least puts himself in position to win a playoff game. So be proud of that. Embrace that, Broncos country. It was something. But what did their quarterback do? We talk about all this. Bo Nix put on an absolute show in the fourth quarter. Some of these numbers, folks, they're going to impress you. I mean, I grew up watching and covering John Elway. He never had huge stats, but no one was better late in games than John. With all due respect to Peyton Manning. Peyton usually didn't have as many close games, but this was his Elway-type moment for Nix, the way he played in the fourth quarter. Those numbers, you got to hear them, and you're going to get to them after the break. When you face curveballs from family challenges, divorce, legal separation, child support, alimony, custody, you need a lawyer who understands the human dynamics, the courtroom, and is willing to fight for you. You need Ted Shih. Graduate of Cal Berkeley Law, Ted brings 40 years of courtroom and 20 years of family law experience to your corner. Ted has been a social worker, a police detective, but first and foremost, he's a trial lawyer. He has tried cases across Colorado and the country. Martindale-Hubbell ranks Ted among the top lawyers in the United States. You want an expert to navigate your family challenge? Call Ted. His passion is putting you first. He will work to settle your case. He's not afraid to go toe-to-toe in the courtroom. Ted can be reached at theoshih@aol.com, TheoShih@AOL.com, or give him a call, 303-475-2981. That's 303-475-2981. Ted promises to respond to your concerns within 24 hours, 365 days a year. All righty, folks. Bo Nix. I wrote last week that Bo Nix, that was, it took a month, but the real Bo Nix showed up. And in the first 3 quarters of this game, I'm like, oh, maybe the real Bo Nix didn't make the flight, and he's still in Denver. He showed up in the fourth when they needed him most. And that's one thing. He's a little robotic at times, a little bit of a blacksmith at times. You're like, kind of like, God, be an athlete, Bo. Let loose. Let your hair down. Go to the air. Let down the hair. But he's a leader. He's steady. Part of it, what it benefits him is this personality. He doesn't really ride the highs and lows. He really, really stays, kind of that equilibrium. And that helps him in games like this where he was clearly struggling. The offense was struggling. The line was struggling. But Nix in the fourth quarter, when they need it, again, they're down 17-3. Every metric would tell you they're not winning this game. Bo got hot. Bo got hot. In the fourth quarter, led 3 scoring drives. Again, this is coming off at one point 6 straight punts. It's not like they're moving and just turning it over on downs. 3 scoring drives. He completes in the fourth quarter 9 of 10 passes for 127 yards. 127 yards. He found Evan Ingram. He found Troy Franklin. He found Cortland Sutton. I mean, the guy just absolutely closed it out. So let's listen to Bo talk about this game, what this win means for a team kind of to finish, get over that proverbial hump. Here's what Bo had to say after the Broncos upset of the Eagles.
It was great. I think it was about time we got a fourth quarter close one, and felt like Kansas City last year. I felt like we'd been there before, and we went down and got points in that 4-minute drill, and then our defense held them at the end. And so it was good. I felt like we've been in that position a lot, and today went our way.
But when coach decides to go for it on 2 points, were you surprised by that? And what did you think of that decision by him?
I wasn't surprised. Next thing I knew was just give me the hash, give me the call. And, we had one play to go get the job done, and Troy ran a great route. We've been practicing that for a couple of weeks, and he got in the end zone. Just trust in his players, and we got the job done.
So did you have a frustration level at any time in the third quarter where you sort of had to calm yourself down or anything and press forward? Or kind of what was your?
I wasn't happy about how the first part was going. 6 straight punts is not what anybody wants. We handled it how we handled it. We went out and won the game.
Did you feel the tidal wave of emotion flip?
Not really. I thought our defense, kept us in the game for the longest, and after the first 3 points, we just literally did nothing for about a while, and then finally went down the field and scored, got some tempo, and then you look up and there's still a lot of fourth quarter to be played, and so we got the ball again, and then we had to go do it again, and then the 2-point, and then after the 2-point, we just got some great momentum, and we just played with that for the rest of the game.
Forgive me if you've been asked already. Not so many good at 2-pointers, but we had a 3rd and long after offensive PI.
Yeah, it's Portland.
Yeah,
it was a big play, just a good play that we like, and honestly, our thought was just get to 4th and manageable probably. And
you had a couple tough losses prior to this game. Then you score 18 unanswered in the fourth quarter, hostile environment. How sweet is this one, considering what you guys have been through earlier this year?
It's awesome. It's a great win. It proves that we can go on the road and beat these tough teams, and we can be a tough team to play. So that's good for our confidence. It's good for going into this trip. A lot of teams struggle before they go to London, but we focused on this trip. We focused on this game, and we went out and got it done.
Well, how nice was it to see Evan Ingram get involved today? What kind of teammate has he been since he signed in Denver?
One, he's been a great teammate. He's been very hardworking. He shows up every day, ready to get better. He really works hard. He's on the field a lot. He's out there before anybody else. He stays, and he adds a level of experience / competitive nature that it's not everybody in that situation has, especially not playing a whole lot, probably as much as he wanted to, but he never really complained, never wavered, just kind of figured out how he could be pieced in. And then once his moment showed up today, he made a couple really huge catches on those drives, and breaking a tackle to go score was big. You don't have to run any more plays against a tough red zone defense. So really good to see him get in the end zone. Excited for what's to come with him. I know it's just trying to build certain things and just put him in places to succeed. And I think he showed today that he's on the right track.
Welcome back to the Broncos Pod. Troy Rink here from the Denver Post. Please read my stuff at the Denver Post, denverpost.com/Broncos, or if you go to the sports page, go to Sports Columnist, and certainly read stuff from Parker Gabriel and Luca Evans. And we got you covered. Parker's 7 thoughts that thing that is so in depth. Luca's talking to Riley Moss. He's talking to Evan Ingram. He's got stuff all over with notebooks and sidebars. And I've got my column again on this signature win. And it brings us to our final subject, which is that locker room scene afterward. Payton does a good job. Like I get the media, the external stuff with some of the media stuff. You know, like, oh, man, this guy's a pain in the ass. You know, but players buy into his confidence and his swagger. Like I was talking to Bulls after the game, and he's just like, it feels different because you feel like he always puts us in a position to win. This is Bulls talking. Puts us in a position to win. We trust his schedule. We trust his plan. We trust what he's telling us. And I know people roll their eyes at that, but again, you go back to Nathaniel Hackett or first-time head coaches like Vic Fangio and Vance Joseph, good coaches, but I don't know about Hackett. I'm not sure what he's good at. They're being a funny guy. But having that plan and that structure, players for the most part, I know this surprises folks, they want to be coached. They want discipline. They really do. Not everyone. You got diva players and diva positions, but for the most part, they want honesty and they want to be coached. And the joke is everyone wants the truth except when it's about them. And it's hard to hear, but players for the most part on good teams, they want to be coached. And they want to earn that coach's trust. And Payton's a button pusher. He will, so when he goes to Ingram and says, I don't like your body language, he's challenging guys. He'll go up to guys during warmups. And like even when he's playing Fly Eagles Fly this week during practice, it's the rankle players. You're like, man, you getting tired of hearing that song? Because that's the song they play after their scores. You know, does it bother you? Then freaking stop it. Like it's all part of the mental game, part of these pieces that fit in. But Payton, he has a way about him that inspires confidence in his players. And it doesn't always show up on the podium, but I'm telling you, the way he runs meetings, the detail-oriented nature of it, guys feel like he puts themselves in position to win. And he had a good feeling about this team this week. And I want you to hear this soundbite from Payton. I asked him after the game what it meant for his team to deliver in this type of situation.
Big games, Sean, for these guys. What does it say about your players when you want this game and then they turn around and deliver like this?
I think you always get a chance to see where you're at, you know, and we talked a lot about it.
Okay.
One of the challenges is playing this game before you go to London. You know,
right.
You guys have heard me say it, the away teams before London, it's not real good. So it wasn't in the itineraries. There was not one thing.
Couldn't say the L word?
The L word, nothing. I said something about bring an extra bag Friday and that's it. And then we'll figure out. So, because it's very easy to get caught up in, if you're not careful, the next week. The focus needs to be on today. And then you're coming off a Monday night. You know, there were a lot of reasons. You know, you could say you weren't going to be successful, but our guys did a good job of preparing. And I think the locker room prior to today felt like this was going to be the result. I mean, I've done this long enough.
Right.
I've got pretty good instincts, and you know, as a coach, you're waiting to see. And at halftime, I felt really good. You know, despite the unsuccessful drives offensively, I loved where we were at.
Yeah, you hear Sean there. Like he's been doing this a long time. With his 18th year as a head coach, you get a feel for it. Like you kind of know your team, and he's talking about guys who are, you know, they really believe this was going to be the result. Again, all they had was each other and their belief entering the fourth quarter because they were getting their ass kicked. I mean, you just don't win games in Philly down 17-3 in the fourth quarter. You don't. But there became a scene. So you win that game. The ball falls short, and you win that game against the Eagles as Brown can't come up with it. Devontae Smith can't come up with it. Talanoa Hufunga's taunting the crowd at the end. Nick Bonito has his 2.5 sacks. He's on pace for 24 sacks, folks. You think that was good money? Money well paid? Guys, right now he's going to be the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He's certainly top 3. But Surtain had a penalty earlier that helped lead to a touchdown. And Surtain tells me after the game that he wasn't going to let that happen. There's no way. And those two kind of go up, but he felt like one of them was going to grab. He's like, there's no way. He's like, that could have been a horse story. We were writing the perfect story today. I'm not letting it happen. And that's that kind of the attitude of the team. Like, enough is enough. We're not losing this game. We've lost too many games like this over the last 2 years. This changes the narrative from a team that, some people thought imposters or frauds. No, you can't say that now. Now, again, you can change it right back in the NFL if you were to lose to the Jets or roll out, throw a gutter ball against the Giants when you come back from London. But you showed something if you're the Broncos by beating the Eagles. Yes, they were vulnerable. Yes, their bad habits caught up with them. Yes, their offense stinks right now. I don't care. Again, Broncos 2-112 now when trailing on the road in the fourth quarter by at least 14 points. So what did Payton say? He gets into that. You guys, the Broncos country, if you follow the Broncos on Twitter, we're not in there then, but the smoke's in there. Greg Penner, the owner, had given Sean Payton a game ball for passing parts of cells, but Payton has the team in front of him, and he has a little bit of Harbaugh to him here, and basically says, who are we afraid of? And they yell, you're setting it up on a tee. They yell in unison, nobody, because they're not. You just beat the defending champ in their place. Down 14. Riley Moss was telling me that. He's like, it was electric in here. That vibe, you could feel it. So now you go to London. Feeling great. That 8-hour flight is going to feel like 3 hours. And if you had lost 24-3, that 8-hour flight would have felt like 16 to go to London. I will be there. I'll be there with Parker Gabriel. We'll keep you informed. No access on Tuesday, but it'll be a regular work week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all that good stuff. Hopefully we'll, come across ownership or the GM. Usually when they do these international games, you talk to a front office or an owner because it's just they're out there and obviously they're doing stuff for international media or whatever. I mean, it's just a time in a season where you could get to a GM or an owner. So we'll see if that transpires. But playing the Jets, they won over in London 3 years ago. That was at Wembley. This is at Tottenham. Different ballpark, way easier opponent. The Broncos, frankly, got a little lucky to beat the Jaguars last time. I loved everything about London. The people were great. Food was great. It's just the history. I love history. So to be able to be over there and see Buckingham Palace, and my wife and I went to the Windsor Castle. It was just fantastic. And I'm looking forward to it again. And looking forward to seeing how this team handles prosperity, because this is the biggest win they've had for me since, you could say Fangio's win over Dallas was there, but they didn't go to the playoffs with Fangio. This, to me, you could say is probably their biggest win since Super Bowl 50. But it's a regular season win. I get it. I do. I really do. But in terms of the opponent, the time, the place, the deficit, huge. So the Broncos moved to 3-2. Some quick injury stuff. Ben Powers has a biceps issue. He's not traveling to London. Don't know if he will then turn around, but he's hurt. And Jared Stidham not traveling. His wife, they're expecting their third child. He's expected to join the team, it sounds like, on Wednesday. So fly to Denver and then fly back to London probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. So clean that up. Other than that, they're pretty healthy coming out of the game. There was a concern with McGlinchey, but he seemed fine. So I think for the most part, they're healthy. And you better believe they were happy. The Broncos finished. Came up with that big punch at the end in the fourth quarter. 18 unanswered. Your Broncos. 3-2. So enjoy it. Embrace the team. Victory Monday, folks. I could not do this pod without Darby Hoggatt, my A1 from day one, Ted Shih Family Law Practice, and, of course, Danny Bailey and Nate Lundy of Mile High Sports. They are the best. Broncos country, I do this pod for you. Happiness, that begins with me. Go out there and have a great day.